And now it is a pleasure to be joined by the man who will be competing for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight title on September 26th in the co-main event of UFC 253, the one and only Dominick Reyes, who of course will be going up against Jan Blachowicz. We just found out Tuesday night via Dana White on SportsCenter that it will in fact be for the vacant light heavyweight title. Dom, first off, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. We got a lot to get to here, so thank you so much for this.
No problem, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Ariel.
Thank you. And I love that setup you got going on there. Kudos on that. You're looking good. You're living large. All right. So let's,
man.
I like it. I like it. So let's start here. When did you first find out that Jon Jones was actually leaving the division and vacating the title?
In all honesty, I found out when it was announced. I didn't have any idea.
You had no idea. Okay. So when did they first come to you about fighting on September 26th?
A couple weeks ago.
And was the plan for you to fight Jan, or initially were they trying to get you to fight Jon?
Well, initially it was just a blank contract. Like, whoever we could put in front of you, that's what we're going to do. Like, it was either Jon or Jan. Those were the options. But it was all depending on Jon. Like, everybody was like, what's Jon going to do? So I agreed to either one, and then they came out with Jon's vacating, and now it's for the vacant belt with Jan.
Right. And so when you were agreeing to that sort of blank contract, was there a belt attached to it? Like, regardless, were you only fighting on that date if you could fight for the belt?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on a short notice fight. Like, you're going to give me a short notice fight, you got to make it worth it, you know?
Yeah. Was there ever any talk of an interim belt and not the actual belt?
They mentioned that, but it was like I said, it was all depending on Jon. They were like, if he comes back, you know, then obviously you guys are gonna rematch. It's gonna be epic. Everybody's gonna love it. Blah blah blah. And then if not, then it could be for an interim with Jen, or you know, maybe, or we'll strip Jon, or he'll vacate. Like, they had all the scenarios, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, so you're telling me there's nothing I could do about it anyway. So I'm all right.
So as far as you knew, if Jon agreed to stick around at 205, it would have been you versus Jon Jones too. Like, you know, there was some discussion. Would it be Jon versus Jan, Jon versus you? Their plan was you versus Jon, but it was up to him if he was going to stick around, correct?
Absolutely.
What was your reaction when you found out he was leaving?
Oh, come on, man. That was my reaction. Like, come on, bro. Seriously? That's whack. But then it was like, all right, well, whatever. The show must go on, you know? Either way, I'm fighting. Either way, I'm going for the belt. So the whole goal is to get the belt anyway. It sucks that, you know, I can't beat Jon for it at this time, but I'll catch him. I'll catch him later.
Were you surprised that ultimately he decided to leave?
A little bit. It was a little bit shocking, but then at the same time, not, because if you look, I try to look at things from other people's perspectives and, you know, what they've been through and what leads to whatever decision they make. And if you look at it, Jon, you know, I think truly in his heart, he felt like, you know, he won that fight unanimously, and he has nothing else to prove in the division. Either that, or he's like, man, I could really lose my belt to this guy. So let's avoid that, and we'll just vacate and go up to heavyweight, and we'll make a run at the title.
So that was actually my next question. Do you believe that him vacating the title and moving up to heavyweight now, because of course it had been rumored and he had talked about it for quite some time, do you believe it has anything or everything to do with you?
Yes and no. I'm gonna say yes because I do believe that, and no because he's gonna say no.
But you think that he just doesn't want to rematch you?
I think his ego won't let him admit that I'm the reason. I know he doesn't want to rematch me. I mean, it's obvious. He vacated the belt. Like, you don't give up something you're proud of. You know what I mean? Like, I win the belt, I'm not gonna be like, God, I'm gonna give it up. Like, I'm gonna go up to heavyweight. Like, no, man, you earned that. Like, why would you just give it up unless you feel like you didn't earn it? You know what I mean?
And so when you do fight on September 26th, yes, it will be for the undisputed title, but will it feel the same as if you would have won the belt back in February? Because you're not fighting Jon, you're not fighting the greatest light heavyweight of all time. and it doesn't have that same sort of cachet attached to it. So how do you think it will feel if all goes well for you next month?
It's gonna feel freaking fantastic, man.
It won't feel like, because you know what everyone will say: paper champ, this, that. You didn't beat the guy, all that stuff.
Bro, if I cared about what everybody said, I wouldn't be fighting right now. That's just facts. It doesn't matter. Like I said, none of this is in my control. I'm just doing what I can do. I'm fighting for the belt. I'm gonna be a great champion, and I'm gonna freaking make my family, my friends, and my people proud when I go out there and perform on September 26th. Either way, I'm performing. I'm doing what I love to do. So it doesn't matter if it's I beat Jon, I beat Jan, I beat whoever I beat to win the belt. I got the belt. That's all that matters. That's all that's ever mattered the whole time. I said that when I was fighting Jon. I said, it doesn't matter if it's Jon. I just want the belt. That's all that matters to me. Like, people come and go. The belt is concrete, man. It ain't going nowhere.
At some point before your career is done, would you like to get that rematch against Jon because it was such a close, great fight, or are you kind of over it at this point?
At this point, I don't really give a shit about Jon Jones, to be 100% honest. He's irrelevant in my life now. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what the future holds, my friend. We will see what the future holds. Maybe, this is what I'm really thinking though. I'm thinking, I win this belt. It's going to create all kinds of hype. Everybody's going to be talking about you didn't beat Jon, blah, 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 blah. And Jon's going to be like, yeah, pay-per-view. All right. Uh-huh. And then we're going to come together. I'm going to be the champ. He's going to try to get my belt, and I'm going to smash him.
Oh, so you think...
And I'll never see him again. So either way, like,
it's hard to know.
That's going to happen or it's not.
Right.
Either way, I'm still moving along. I'm good.
And because of the fact that you are fighting Jan next, I mean, I would imagine that you agree that would be the guy, right? Like, if it wasn't going to be Jon, what's that?
Jan is a beast.
Yeah. Have you been impressed with him, especially what he did in his last fight against Corey Anderson? I've
been impressed with Yan for years, man. Like, I've been trying to fight Yan since I beat Cannonier because I respect the guy's game. He is a very technical striker. He has more power than Jon. I think he's a more dangerous fight for me, to be 100% honest. He's a counter striker with a lot of power, and he has a BJJ black belt, and he's very technical everywhere. Jon doesn't counter strike, has no power, and he's not that technical. He's just tricky.
Wow. I think a lot of people would be surprised by that statement. You think Jan is a tougher matchup for you than Jon Jones?
Yes.
Wow. So you said that it was short notice. I do recall maybe on Sunday, I think, on Instagram, you posted something about signing a new contract. Was that the contract for this fight, or was that a new fight contract? What was that? Because you ghosted me when I asked you about that.
Hey, man, organizational policy, I can't disclose everything. Yeah, it was for this fight.
Okay. Did you get a new deal for this fight?
It's a championship fight.
Okay. So you happy with it?
I am.
When did you, so like you called this a short notice though. So like, when did you first start training for this fight? Was it just last week? This week? Really?
Last week. Yeah.
So you're going to get like a month and a half or so. How do you feel about
6 weeks of training? Yes.
How do you feel about 6 weeks for another title fight? Is that enough?
It's going to be enough.
Okay.
I prefer an actual real like camp for a title fight, but I mean, if they're going to disrespect me with this and whatever, it is what it is, man. It's just adding more fuel to the fire. It's a little more adversity to overcome. You know what I mean? But it's all
Why
good.
Do you feel like it's disrespectful?
Bro, it's a championship fight, and you're going to give me 6 weeks notice on a co-main?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Were you not kind of staying in shape because of everything going on, or?
It's not that I'm not in shape. It's that it takes time to prepare, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go out there and freaking put on a hell of a show for the fans. I want to do some dope, man. I want to sleep them, I choke them out, whatever. I want to get an astonishing finish, and that takes film study. It takes time. It takes a little bit more than 6 weeks. But
what's your ideal length for a camp?
10 weeks for a five round fight.
Yeah.
5 rounds is no joke, bro. It's no joke. especially when you're a 205 pounder. We're not these little guys where energy expenditure is a lot different. When I move, it requires a lot more energy than when it takes, TJ Dillashaw or Cody Garbrandt to move. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just biology, bro.
If you don't mind me asking, how much did you weigh when the camp started?
226.
Okay, so that's not too bad, right?
No, I'm not out of shape. Like I said, I've been training. I don't get myself out of shape. Like I'm not going to go past 230. Like, I don't do that.
Right.
But it's just it's a game planning thing. It's a timing thing. You know what I mean? It's rounds. It's things like that. It's just what I would prefer. It is a championship fight. It is what it is. I've accepted it. They compensated me for my troubles. So we're going to get it. We're going to get it.
Because it's not the main event, did you try to say, hey, why don't you just put me on the October pay-per-view?
Yes. That's
and
exactly
what happened?
What I tried to do. And they said no.
Really? That's interesting.
I think the card needed some help.
Yeah.
So,
my understanding is good. I mean, hey, you're a company guy. My understanding is it's happening on quote unquote Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. Is that accurate?
I honestly don't know. They haven't told us where it's going to happen.
Okay.
They're like, all right, 6 weeks, you're up. Where? We don't know. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, usually it doesn't matter, but in this case, it kind of does because if it's in Vegas, it's a small cage. Yeah.
It matters. It 100% matters.
Yes. So what's your preference?
A big cage. I'm a big guy. I love to strike. It restricts movement. It encourages grappling. It's ridiculous. It's a contender cage. Like, why are UFC guys, actual roster athletes, fighting in a contender cage? They built a 30-foot cage for a reason. Because think of it like this: the NCAA has shorter hash marks than the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's for a reason. So you could have more room to run because you're faster, you're bigger, you're better. You know what I'm saying? Just like Major League Soccer, they have bigger fields than the college field. It's a bigger field. So you have more room to play. The game is better when you have more room. Just like the NBA, they move the 3-point line back because the pros are better. It's the exact same thing. People just don't compute. Like, there's a reason for these things. Real pros, it matters. It's just the facts.
So at what point do you think you'll know? Because this is a big part of your preparation, right?
It is, man. But we apparently with COVID, there's no rules and there's no transparency. So we just gotta roll with the punches, man. Like, it's gonna either way, bro. We were meeting in the center and we're throwing down. Like, I prefer a bigger cage, but what I get is what I get at this point. We're in COVID. Apparently with COVID, they can do whatever they want.
Are you frustrated?
A little bit frustrated. It's interesting because this frustration it's kind of towards the situation, but it's all being directed at him.
Okay.
Like,
you're gonna take it out on Jan.
100%. Like, every day, like, I get frustrated with something and it just amplifies. Like, you know what? F this guy. Like, now somebody's gonna pay. Somebody's gonna freaking pay. All right. And unfortunately for Jan, it's him. He's gonna be in my way. He's trying to stop me from my freaking dreams and my destiny and my freaking belt. So he's gonna pay. All these other is adding on to the amount of punishment I'm gonna lay out to this fool.
How many times have you watched the Jones fight?
Maybe 5 times.
How frustrating is it for you?
Hey, it's not that frustrating. It's actually like encouraging because it's like, man, I'm really good. I'm really good.
Well, I remember I saw you a month later, the last time we were in Vegas, the last time there were fans at an event.
That was cool.
And it was a month later, right? And I think it was kind of setting in, like, when I talked to you the Monday after, you were mad, but a month later, you're like, man, I lost out on money. I could be the champion. Like, at some point, did you go from like mad to like pissed off that you were robbed of something? Like the stages of grief there. What was that like?
I went through all the stages, man.
Yeah.
Mad, pissed, frustrated. I want to get it back. There's all kinds of emotions. And then at the end, like, now it is what it is, man. We're next chapter. Boom. Let's go. And then there's more little obstacles, but there's always obstacles in life, man. There's always something to overcome. There's always some kind of adversity. So this is just another chapter, another freaking more to the journey, man.
How do you think he's going to do at heavyweight?
I think he'll do well. He's moving to heavyweight because those guys are slow. You do realize that, right? He can't keep up with us anymore. After what me and Thiago did to him, he's like, man, I need to go up. I need these guys are getting too fast, they're getting too athletic, they're getting too good. The heavyweights are still slow, you know. I could do my thing. I could go back to doing my thing against them. So I think he sees at it better. There's better matchups for him at heavyweight than there are at light heavyweight. There are danger. They're heavyweights. It's dangerous, but Jon's hard to hit, and he knows that. So he's like, these guys aren't going to be able to touch me.
Him versus Stipe, who wins in your opinion?
At this time?
Yeah.
Stipe.
Him versus Francis, who wins?
That one's tough. I gotta see Francis fight again. If he's not moving his feet like he should be, then Jon will win. If he is, then he will win.
But you said the Stipe one right away, like no hesitation. Why?
Well, because Stipe has great footwork. Stipe moves very well. So that's why I said Stipe right away, because he has fantastic footwork and he could touch Jon up. And he has the chin. I mean, Jon doesn't hit that hard, but anyway, he still has the chin to take it. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, but don't you think that'll be a problem if he doesn't hit hard at light heavyweight and then goes up to heavyweight?
Hey, that's his problem, man. That's right. I think he's going to focus a lot on like increasing his power. I think after the fight, when I said, well, they're like, what's the one thing that surprised you about fighting Jon? I was like, how weak he was. I think that bothered him. I'm pretty sure. And he started lifting like the next day.
You know, when all the drama happened like a couple of months ago with all of this, was that, I mean, I know you said you're frustrated now, but did you want to come back sooner and then you were kind of left in limbo, or was this the time you wanted to come back regardless?
The thing is, I just wanted them to tell me what the plan was. Like,
right.
I'm the number one contender and you're not telling me. You're not letting me know what's going on at all. Like, if you would have told me this freaking in proper time, it would have been all good. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, thank you for letting me know. Like, thank you for being transparent, letting me know what you're going to do with my career. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all aboard. I'm down to promote. I'm down to be with the organization. I'm down. I'm 100% down. Just put me in the damn loop so I could be part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I could prepare 100% and be champion for years and years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? Give me that opportunity. Don't just be like, well, we're just going to do this. Like, here, we need to save this card. So here you go. You know what I mean? Like, what? Come on, man. Like, I worked very hard to put myself in this position. I've sacrificed my entire life. And then now you're going to hit me with, oh, well, we weren't really doing it. And then now we're doing it. So now we're to your division. We came back around to it. All right, here you go. You know what I mean? That's what frustrates me. It's just like, just come on, man. Like, be transparent. I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard. Like, let me know what's going on so I can be prepared too. I'm the one fighting. Like,
no, I understand. I certainly understand where you're coming from. Another interesting component to all of this is, you know, for the past 9.5 years, only Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier have held the belt at 205.
That's pretty crazy.
Pretty nuts, right? I mean, that's almost a decade of just two guys holding the title. So you're going to be, you know, you win this, you're going to be the new face of the division. The idea of that, the thought of that, after everything you've been through, especially this year with all the frustration, I would imagine that gets you very excited. That gives you motivation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the goal, Ariel. That's the goal. I mean, to be the champion. That's what we set out. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you, man, to be the champion. And I'm another step closer. Just one more battle and I'm champion. And then I'll start defending my belt. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy road. Very, very exciting. It's very exciting still. Even though it's short notice, I'm still extremely excited. I'm freaking honored, and I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. Well, you know I'm going to be ready. But it's definitely an honor, man. It's definitely an honor.
Last thing for you, given the times, any challenges as far as training, your gym, training partners, whatnot, or is it pretty?
I just had to get on the phone. That was it. I got on the phone, called some people up. Hey, come train. I got people coming.
Okay. Well, I can't wait for it. September 26th, UFC 253. Two great title fights. Israel Adesanya against Paulo Costa. And, of course, Dominick Reyes against Jan Blachowicz. Two massive fights at 185 and 205. I'm happy you're getting your title fight.
Do not sleep on this fight, people. Believe me. This is going to be a freaking war. Literally, it's going to be a freaking war. Appreciate you all, man. Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.